This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
Hey, darling, how are you?
Hi, girls.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, or as the Greeks would say, Christos Anesti.
Christos Anesti to you, darling. Did you have a nice break?
I did, as any good Italian boy does for Easter. He's with his family. He is eating a truckload of food, and then he is regretting it later.
Amazing. I had
How was yours?
Mine was very white boy Easter, which was just thanks for the public holidays. I'm going to go out and drink. With
Love.
my mates. Yeah, no family
The-
obligations really.
The duality.
Yes. And the Pope is dead. So there's that too. That's a fun time.
I know that was a spanner in the works. And of course, he had to do it the day after Easter or the day of Easter. So I don't know what the significance of that is.
Drama. She's doing it for the drama. Yeah.
Dumb.
So we're all awaiting. I'm living for all the memes that are surfacing. There's some good ones.
I know. I saw one today of Rihanna saying like our next Pope or whatever. And I thought that was the funniest thing.
So good. We also had a newly crowned queen over the break, On Your Nerve. Season
Yes.
17. What did you think?
And can I tell you, I was so happy that she won. The whole season I was rooting for her. So I am so glad that she won. But you know what I found really interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, she's only done drag for like, what, 2-3 years? She's quite new to it, right?
That's good. I think we need that sometimes. And also she had the best personality, and it's really a personality contest at the end of the day.
Do you know what it is? And this probably ties a lot into today's discussion. I find she was probably one of the more authentic queens out of the flock of queens that were there, because what I find, and this ties so perfectly into today's conversation, I find the rest, because they're so young, they're so image conscious and they're so worried about how they're going to show up on camera that they lose, like their inhibition to just be their authentic self is lost in translation.
Totally. I know exactly what you mean. It's like the new kids, they're so image conscious. They've grown up with, TikTok effectively, and they know how to self-produce. And then they get into a TV show and they're trying to self-produce, and it's like, kind of doesn't work, right?
Yeah, agree. And it's so funny because, and maybe it's a question you were going to ask me, even with me doing my page, like I'm a millennial, so I've come from the era of Instagram where everything's perfect and, you're very poised and it's very edited. So even me doing TikTok was not on the cards for me at all. But it's funny because I remember my brother actually saying this to me, and he said something to the effect of, doesn't it just go to show that just being yourself and just being the person that we know behind the camera, that's what people resonate with and that's what people respond to. And that's what I would say to the queens on TV and the housewives, like
And
we
our
will
girlies.
discuss today as
Yeah.
well, our girls.
As well.
Yes.
And you're a housewives girly from way back. You're across all the franchises. Have you got a fave? Have you got some fave housewives? Tell me.
Yep, I'm an OG of all OGs. Probably the only franchise I never watched was OC. And don't get me wrong, I tried. I have tried to get into it, but I never.
The recent seasons
never
are good.
could.
I watched the last 2
Really?
seasons and I just dropped straight in there, and actually really good. And you don't need any fucking context because they give it all to you. Spoon.
Yeah, well, I think it's very easy to catch up. But I am probably my favorite ones are early New Jersey, because it resembled a lot of my family. I think if you are of ethnicity, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We'll have a feud over anything. I love early days New York was like peak. And of course, I love Atlanta as well. So yeah, I'm very much in mourning with the new girls that have come in, because it's not the girls that I'm used to.
I know, it is hard. I'm actually not up to date with Atlanta at the moment because I have been watching so much other TV for this pod, and I'm looking forward to catching up. It's like my break after Housewives finishes. I'm gonna chuck on my Atlanta girlies, but
Do it.
yeah. How do you feel about the new generation, like New York reboot, for example? Hot or flop?
You know what? I am the kind of person that I like to just see things as they are. I don't subscribe too much to internet fodder. I like to watch things with my own eyes and formulate my own perspective from there. I was very open, as much as I'm in mourning for the old school New York girls because I loved them. I was open to what could be a new breed of New York women that are, more diverse, younger, more fashionable. Probably my biggest thing, which I think is the consensus for a lot of the viewers, is much like what I was saying with the queens on Drag Race. I think the same goes to the new New York girls. They're very image conscious. They're very in control of their narrative. They don't.
Some of them are influencers, like Psy.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Can I tell you though, just a hot take, and I'm interested to hear if any of your listeners feel the same way. I didn't like Psy the first season, and it wasn't until I actually started watching her YouTube channel because I wanted a backstory and I wanted to understand who this woman was pre-Housewives. And I actually loved and appreciated her more from YouTube more than what she shows on TV. So that's what I would say, guys. You don't judge a book by its cover. And Psy is definitely someone that I like now. But yeah, I'm more into New York now. But probably the sad thing is, and I don't know what this says about me, I probably wasn't as into it as I was seeing the last episode, which was probably the worst episode. Ooh. But that's why I was like, this is the energy you should have given, not what happened, but this is the energy you should have given all season.
Yeah, it took a long time to get there, and then when that all went down, it was like, oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. But I give them a chance. I don't know. Sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, are the glory days of the Housewives over? Like, are we past the peak? Like, is it just a legacy show now?
I think Salt Lake City is carrying the torch.
Yeah.
At this point, that shit is top fucking shelf television.
Yes.
And even from what I'm hearing, like they're filming at the moment, shit's coming out. I'm already getting hard for next year. When we're like, oh my God, like give it to me now. What about in Australia? You were an early adopter of Melbourne and the first season of Sydney as well.
Loved Melbourne, and I still watch it to this day. I don't think a day goes by that I'm not in mourning for our Melbourne girls. Justice for Melbourne. And this is a slight cheeky plug to my my thing that I have as well, my petition to bring Melbourne back. So
I've signed, girl.
Yes, make sure.
Get on the real issues.
Who knows? Do you know what? I personally think that the last season of Melbourne was actually not that bad. I actually think that it could have come back.
I loved it. We covered it on the pod. I did a whole episode about season 5. And when I rewatched it to recap, I was like, fuck, this was good.
Yeah, and it's weird to me because when I think about it, I'm like, but why didn't it come back? It mustn't have rated properly, or maybe
it was a COVID season too, so maybe the COVID stuff scared them, and they were like, "Fuck it, let's not waste any more money."
Maybe,
or whatever. Who knows?
Maybe. I definitely think that the change in Sydney was needed. I think that Sydney definitely could not have continued on the way it was. I just think there was too much discourse. Yeah. But then on the other hand, I also think...
like, we'll never know.
I know, but I don't know. I don't know if that was really sustainable having that. So I think it was needed. Curious to know how the decision was made to bring it back, though. I would be interested to know how that conversation was had. Do I like the new season? It's okay. I could do without it. I think it's probably very reflective of a lot of the reviews I do every week. I think that it's taken a lot of episodes to gain momentum and to gain some sort of storyline. To me, it seems like the producers were scrambling for some sort of substance or some major story. It just seemed like it was a lot of little fires that were happening, a lot of talking about a problem, no resolution, which is Housewives. I know that.
Yep. But the same drum, they've been beating the same drum. Like the stuff that they're still talking about now was in last season, and it wasn't that good last season. And that's what I've been saying every week as well, is I'm like, I'm into it and it's fun and I'm getting to know these girlies more now. So that's fun. But I need some new stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the thing that amazed me the most is I am baffled that we're now in 9 episodes, and it's taken us 9 episodes to not even see the whole group together. In any US franchise, you would never see that happen, even if there's discourse. So I'll give you an example. In Atlanta at the moment, Drew and Portia don't really get along too well. Portia's in, she's somewhere for her birthday, Texas, and Drew is about to attend her birthday in Texas. They don't get along, but they both understand that they have a show to film and they need to all, you know, be with each other, and the viewers also want to see that. To me, with Sydney, and this is my perception, I feel that the girls produce the show more than the producers do.
I agree. Because it's more like, you can tell they're leading the way, and that's maybe why it's not working. Also, so much stuff is happening off camera, which is driving me insane. What happened at the intercom? These text messages and all the drama around the text. I'm like, girls, stop texting each other. I want face-to-face, darling.
I know. I'm very curious what the reunion is like. And my word of warning is, if anyone does not show to the reunion, they should not be coming back next season.
Ooh. Well, I can already put money on one person not showing.
Well, she's not coming back then.
Have they shot the reunion yet? I've heard whispers that it's happening, but I haven't heard shot it yet.
I don't know. I might have to ask my inside source.
Yes. Well, we shall see. Well, either way, I'm very excited about it. Thoughts on this particular season as a whole so far? Did you like New Zealand? Are you liking the new energy from Martine?
I think it's okay. Honestly, this is no word of a lie, I am formulating a new friendship with Martine, and I will say, and this is not a biased opinion. This is just I feel, and I will tell her this as well. I have told her this actually. The way she presents herself on camera is very different to how she is in reality. But I also know, but I also know, and I will tell you this, from conversations that her and I have had, there was a lot of personal stuff that was happening behind the screens that she wasn't willing to share on screen. So I think the way that translated was what we saw. It's interesting, though, because when I was first introduced to her on screen, and I interviewed them at a press junket, I actually thought, oh, who's this one going to be? Like, I'm not sure about this. And even when we had that first shot of her on camera, in my head, I was thinking, fuck, here we go. Like another blonde bimbo, another housewife that has slept with an older rich guy for money.
Kate on first day was like, oh, another trophy wife. No, you're right.
I know.
I'm glad she's bringing up, like this week, we learn about the passing of her mother, which I'm as difficult as I'm sure that would have been to talk about on camera. It's really important context for the viewing audience, because I was like, oh my God, of course there was something more going on. No one just behaves like that for no reason. So knowing that did, definitely open my eyes. I was like, oh, okay, there's more to the story here. So I'm really glad we got that vulnerability from her this week, and some depth of character. It's not like someone's just rocked up, wants to be on the show, wants to cause some drama for no reason. It's like, no, there's like more going on. So that was welcome.
I agree. And I hope that if there is another season that she does come back. One of my things that I always observe, unless they're really bad and they present themselves on camera not well, one thing I observe, especially a lot with the US franchises, is that a lot of these housewives will be one and done. And I almost feel like there's something that needs to be in their contract to allow them to come back next season. The reason why is I feel that season 1, they're getting their sea legs, they're understanding what filming a show is and how they want to, showcase themselves or whatever. I feel like season 2, they're a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera. They understand how the mechanism works. So I feel like there should be this unspoken rule that they should come back for another season, because I often find when they do, you get a totally different overview of what you saw season 1 as well, unless they're really bad. Like, for example, I personally think that Claudia Jordan should have come back for another season in Atlanta. I thought she was amazing. So I never understood why she didn't come back. And I think a lot of the fans had felt that way as well. But I definitely think, if we're going back to Sydney, I definitely think a lot of tweaks can be made to the cast.
Totally. No, I think you're right. And last season of Sydney, which I guess was the first of this new iteration of it, I think a lot of them had the sea legs you're talking about. I think Kate wasn't particularly that comfortable with the new group. Like a few of them, it just didn't quite translate. And then now I think they are playing the game a bit more, and I love to see it. So Caroline, I think Caroline was really uncomfortable on camera last season, but this season she's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a bit of a villain. Why not? And we love it.
We love it. And you know what? I actually really love her friendship with Chrissy, and I think they're a really good duo together. Much like what I think
Chrissy so much.
Love. But I think Chrissy is 100% needed for the show, and she's a big anchor for the show. I think for me as the viewer, she really drives the ship, and people like her are very needed for a franchise like this, because I think in a lot of ways she 100% gets in the mess, which is great, but I think she knows how to separate herself and also move on for story as well, which is what you need in a show like this. I think if you're too hell-bent on an issue and dragging on that issue episode after episode, it's very hard to move on from that.
Yeah.
There needs to be resolution.
Yeah, you're right. She's good at keeping it moving, because some of these other women, I tell you, we're still talking about things from a long time ago. Let's get into this week's episode, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It was called Faux from Head to Toe. And we start with a recap of last week, the iconic fight between Terry and Caroline, with Caroline saying, well, you're irrelevant. And Terry saying back, I'm irrelevant? You're a hypocrite. This was so good. What did you think of the Westfield Tower blow up?
I thought it was so funny. It's like watching these women converse with each other is like a tennis match, the way they'll do it. And I loved, I think it was last episode when, was it Caroline and Terry, when they were just looking at each other with their eyes? I thought that was the funniest thing.
And these lips, the leather glove, iconic. So,
I love it because she's giving fashion.
Exactly. Stealing Caroline's storyline of being the fashion girl of the group. Where did that go? She did one show and now it's like, okay.
I don't know if I'd necessarily call Caroline the fashion girl of the group. I think it'd be more Terry.
She would know.
Well,
it's in her tagline.
It was a great thing. We perceive ourselves different to how the world does.
We do.
We do.
Still, my favorite part of that. I know when Caroline was saying how she got stuck in a dog door because her tits wouldn't let her through. The visual of that is incredible. I still, every now and then, I'll remember that and I'll have a chuckle to myself.
That's funny.
But this week we start with a little montage. We get Kate at the Bondi Vet, Victoria jumping on some horses, of course, and Martine hanging out with her gorgy, chubby pug baby, Ernie. Have you met Ernie?
No, yet to.
I love a pug, so I'm going to have to.
Do you?
Come up and push the pram around if she'll have me.
Really? See, if I was I don't have a dog myself, but if I did have a dog, my dog would be a Figaro Schiavello. That's what I would have.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
I have met Mr. Fig a few times, actually, at the Schiavello Christmas party. He was a lovely dog.
Have you met Joanna?
No, darling, she was up in the attic.
She's an icon.
Her paperwork was still being processed. Joanna is an icon.
Oh my God.
Then jump scare cut to Sally with bangs. I was like, "Excuse me?" She's trying to talk about her brand Swish, but I was so distracted by the bangs. Excuse me, Sally.
Yeah.
I need an explanation.
You know what? She tried it. She
gave it a red hot go.
You can't, you can't discredit her for trying.
No, maybe she got them in London. Like she was there doing on her business trip, and someone was like, "You know what you need? Some bangs." And she flew back home.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Let's switch it up. Let's do what the queens do.
And sorry, Janet, but Chemist Warehouse is out and Priceline is in, it seems, because that's where we're stocking our brand. I was a little bit like, oh, don't let Janet see.
Well, they are actually going through a little resurgence. I don't know if you've seen Priceline are opening up their own like beauty stores now. So makes sense.
Coming for Mecca's gig, are they?
Yeah, well, who isn't really? I'm a K beauty boy, so I don't shop at Mecca.
We love it.
Just want to make that known.
Next up is Carol and Nicole catching up. And Caroline is hungover. I love this. She just like orders a Bloody Mary. She's like, "Oh, look, last night stayed up all night venting to my ex who just arrived home from, did she say Pompeii? I was like, random place to come back from, but sure. Poor bloke. Like picture getting off that flight and then a like half drunk Caroline picks you up from the airport and is like, strap yourself in. I've got a lot to vent about.
But he's probably like, well, this is what I've been used to all these years being married to this woman. I already know what I'm about to experience here.
I love it.
Do you know what I think though with Caroline? I think a lot of the women, probably like the viewers, I just think a lot of the women are like tickled by her with the things that she says.
Totally. As am I. Like on this bit, she's like, "Oh, I've never been on a bus." And I'm like,
yeah, sure. Okay.
Relatable. And then when she said that, I was like, let's leave that shtick with Montano. You can stick to your thing, which is your big boobs and your fashion career, but let's leave the detached from reality horse driving, Bentley driving stuff to Montano.
It's such an interesting narrative. I don't know if you've spoken about it or if you think about it. Like, I don't know why they always do this, like whenever they shoot these shows of like the women in the east of Sydney, and I'm a Sydney boy, so I can attest to this. I don't know why the image is always like these like super affluent women that live in a bubble and they don't go anywhere else and they don't know anything that happens outside of the eastern suburbs and they live this like really silver platter lifestyle. It's so fascinating to me as well, because I remember even when I had met Nicole, this is some funny like little tea for you. When I met Nicole and a few of the women, I played like a little game with them that never made it to air. But I remember one of the questions was something about like traveling over the bridge, and Nicole was like, "Oh no, I go over the bridge all the time." Like, "Oh no, like that's like I'm not like that." But in my head, I'm like, "But why do these shows portray these women like this?" Like,
I think because we want to,
fascinating.
I think we want to see it. Like, we want to see, these rich, affluent suburbs and like people living up to the stereotype of like, "Oh, why would I ever leave?"
Do we though?
I kind of do. I've got to say, like, Victoria Montano is probably my favorite character on this show. Do you know why? From day one, you got to say consistency is there. From day one, she has just lent into the character of rich bitch, and she has full foot on the gas, unapologetically just done it. And when she said voyeurism and fabulousness in the closet, I was like, boom, there it is. She's just there to flash her cash, and I'm kind of here for it. No, like I would never see that, but I would never see that in my life. Do you know what I mean? We're so far removed. So I do kind of like that. I mean, it was a bit the same with Melbourne. They were all kind of like southeastern suburbs girlies, but they did have locations often on the show where they would go to places that I would go to. So it did feel a little bit more among the people. Whereas like in Sydney, I feel like they go to these, places that I'm like, I don't know.
Wouldn't know.
What that is.
I think maybe you can tell me, because this is a very Sydney Melbourne discussion. Like, I definitely think that Sydney people are they're very area specific, and they definitely love to let you know where they live.
Yeah.
It's
The
almost like
postcode
their
politics
whole
is
brand.
real. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's their whole brand, their whole identity. Whereas if I draw back to what you were just saying about Melbourne Housewives, I never felt that. I never felt like their worth was where they lived.
Oh, see, watching it and being from Melbourne, it was apparent.
Yeah.
But they didn't
Interesting.
they didn't verbalize, they didn't say things like, oh, I would never leave Malvern or Toorak or whatever. They didn't really say that, but we just could tell that that's where
You knew.
they were.
Yeah.
I guess
How
maybe
interesting.
Gamble was like that because she was down on the peninsula, which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And people down there don't leave because it's like far away. So there was kind of that.
Right.
Too, but I know what you mean. The proudness of being a Double Bay or a Darling Point girl.
Yes.
And the thing with that is when you're telling people that you have property there, you're telling people that you're fucking loaded, because that is some of the most
100%.
expensive real estate in the country. So
Yep.
those drone shots of their balconies and stuff on the harbour, like, I lived for that. That's voyeurism and fabulousness in my opinion.
It is. It's quintessential Sydney.
Yeah, totally. Actually, I was up in Sydney 2 weeks ago visiting some
nice.
friends, and friends of mine, they've just moved back to Australia from living in Europe, and they've bought a place in Kirribilli. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
sorry? So I went and saw their new place, and it was like Stunnalina, because I never go over there when
Fair.
I'm normally in town. But I was like, fuck, this world exists. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does. And you know what? It's so funny living here and having grown up here. Like, the East versus North divide is just the funniest. And it's so comical to me as well.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, I enjoy watching it play out.
Yeah.
Then back to the show. We see Terry, Kate, and Sally at Sally's place. She's made a lovely cheese board, and they talk about the egg freezing. I love how much Terry is pushing this on Kate. She's like, really wants Kate to have a baby. Don't you reckon?
I know. I think she wants it more than Kate does at this
100%.
point.
Yeah, yeah. She's like that lucky friend. Like, when are you going to have a kid?
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
Which does become a contentious point of the drama later on. So bookmark that for now. And then Jillian Gillies must be haunting everyone because the earrings are flying off. The jewelry's flying off.
Oh my God.
Jane? She's haunting.
But like, I can't quite tell, like, are you that daft that you've never seen the Melbourne Housewives, or are you just like, are you doing it just to like stick it to her? Like, we obviously know who Jackie Gilly is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very funny.
Do you think she's truly haunting the girls? Her impact? No.
I think that her powers are quite demonic, if you ask me.
Not of God. I think Terry needs to invest in some jewelry that doesn't fucking snap off. Come on. She's like, oh, that's Jackie gonna make girl. That jewelry's just a bit cheap. Let's be honest.
That's your Colette jewelry doll.
Because there was that scene where they went in. Was it her or Chrissy? Oh fuck, I can't remember. Where they went in to buy this like diamond, and I'm like, yet to see that one on the wrist. Anyway,
did they go to Lavendi to purchase that diamond?
Oh, honey, she wishes. She wishes.
She should have come back. 100%. She should have come back.
She was perfect for television.
Yes, but what
is she doing now?
Cooking.
Do you have eyes on Athena X? What is she doing?
No, I should do some investigative work. I'm not sure what she's doing, actually. Would have loved to have seen her back.
Yes, I'm. Cut to Martine and Victoria having a kiki. I love it when these two girls are together. They're just having a casual girls' day in, a little getting some manis done. These shots of their shoes. I was like,
yeah.
Like,
just a lifestyle shot.
Lifestyle shot. Martine's mother has recently passed, so we do hear about this, and it's when you start to go, oh, okay, this is what has been happening. Our thoughts and prayers are obviously with Martine. Then Victoria tells her about the tennis day, and she rips everyone's shit tennis skills to to shreds, which I thought was great. This is a rich bitch flex as well. Like,
It is.
not everyone had a private, professional tennis tutor from when they were 6 months old, darling.
Yeah. Not everyone can be as fabulous as me.
Exactly. She explains that Nicole apologized for not coming to the sound healing event with Jillian, and they gush over Nicole's grace and beauty. This is a real, Nicole had worded them up for this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Big time. Because they're like, isn't Nicole just perfect in every way?
She's so perfect that she doesn't need to be in any of the season, just 2 episodes, and still do all the press like all the other main housewives, and probably still earn the same money that all the housewives do.
Exactly. Oh my God. Back to the other ladies having the same conversation. And then Nicole in confessional, which is kind of the only place we get to see her at the moment because she's not really in many of the scenes, says that if you lay with dogs, you can get fleas. And I was like, can we swap that out? That needs to be her tagline.
Yeah, it really should have been as well. But I was also thinking, where did this rehearsed line come from, Doll? Which producer fed you this line?
Yeah, she's got some good gays working for her. She's also in that
she does.
the pearl look, which snaps to that.
She looked good.
Oh, she did. Martine is not a fan of tension. She says it's aging. We don't love things that age.
Does she realize she's on the Housewives?
It's true. I do love how Martine is just not a fan of the drama. It's so funny. She's just like,
do you know what it reminds me of?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Meredith season 1, where she'd be like, I'm disengaging. I'm
I'm in a bathtub somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, he's disengaging. So good. And then Victoria's like, look, there wasn't enough booze in that Pimm's and lemonade to quash the tension. Kate then takes us back to the center of the beef between her and Caroline. And she brings it back to the reunion last year, which I like when they do this, because the reunions should always be springboards for the next season's drama. So this was chef's kiss. But she was accused of shedding fake tears from Caroline, and she assures us that those tears were real because they were about her experience losing a parent from cancer. So it's kind of like she's kind of playing the game of like, well, if we're all bringing our trauma to the table, am I allowed to showcase that in a genuine way and not have it criticized, which I totally relate to. Like, that would piss me off.
Yep. Agree. Me too. And it shouldn't be weaponized either. And I think everybody shares and showcases their emotion and vulnerability in different ways. So
yeah. And it might, they are being filmed. So it might have appeared in some way to Caroline as fake, but I think the benefit of the doubt's probably some grace you would extend to someone when there's that kind of thing involved. I think you don't fuck with someone when they're talking about that sort of thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But she's doing it. I'm glad they brought this up because I was a little bit flying blind between these two. I was I'd forgotten where it started and what it was about and that whole thing on the boat and whatever. So yeah, to bring it up again, I'm like, thanks for the reminder.
And I know it's so interesting because sometimes I feel like some of these conversations that I had with the ladies are some things that happen off screen, and you try and cast your mind back, and you're like, oh, okay, when did this happen? Was this a discussion that was on air, or and the two worlds sometimes don't meet or they don't collide. So you try and piece together what the problem is. It's like the Nicole and Terry scenario, how the issue in the grand scheme of things is it's stupid, and they could have squashed this episode 1, but we've dragged a whole season of this issue from last season. But then I find it funny because it's on screen they're saying they haven't seen each other, they haven't spoken since last season. But then I think in one of their confessionals, maybe Nicole, she was but I've seen her numerous times, and I've seen her at fashion events and this
in
and
Aspen
that.
and at the Melbourne Cup and wherever else. I'm like, okay. I think their shit is actually deep. I think they...
Do you think?
oh, like mate, like I think it's about the closeness thing. Wasn't one of them like, I barely know you, and it's like, ooh, girl. I think that is real.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably snowballed
Yeah,
into
definitely.
what it has now become. I think as well, the two women have very different cachets as well. I think that, in my opinion, curious to hear yours as well, I think that Terry is a bigger name than what Nicole is in media. So I think she has more of a pull to the show than what Nicole does. So I think that is probably a big point of contention as
Definitely.
well for
Yeah.
them. Because like I also found it quite interesting that, what was it, 2 or 3 episodes that Terry wasn't there at the start of the season, but the whole season was essentially about her, and the whole first few episodes were about her. So to me as a viewer, it was basically saying like, this show can't continue or can't go on without Terry, which she was a big storyline from last season as well. So it didn't make sense that she wasn't there. But if she wasn't going to be, from what I know, she wasn't going to be there at the start of this season, joined on later on.
You're so right. Because Nicole wouldn't want to have to compete with that. I think Nicole's not a competitive person. She doesn't like Terry's energy. She's just not a fan. And Terry is a big personality. So I think she didn't want to be there with her there. And then unfortunately, it's worked out that they're both there. So she's kind of just retreated. But also, I think I've got it wrong before when I said about the closeness. That was with Chrissy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a different thing. Yeah, I got that wrong. There's been so many petty things that
I know.
I'm confusing.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
I know. It's hard
Oh
to keep
my
track.
God. Yet another piece of jewelry pops out. So more bewitching from Jackie up above. And I love that Jackie is still in the season without being in the season. It makes me very happy.
I know. What did you think of her being in this season? What did you think of seeing her?
I mean, it was a bit stupid, but I welcomed it, and I liked that everyone was really like skeptical about it, and they were all like, "What is this? And who's Terry's friend? And why have they done this?" And they've I'm like, guys, chill out. You're on a reality show. It's just like sound healing
not that deep
shit. Anyway. This is the stuff that they do, and obviously they're just throwing Jackie a bone. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good for like a nostalgia standpoint as well. Like if you've watched the Australian franchises, if you've watched Melbourne, like me, you're like, oh, you're happy to see her. You haven't seen her in a while.
Big time. Yeah.
Always
welcome Jackie on our screens.
Yes.
Back to Caroline and Nicole, and Caroline is hurting from the situation with her mum. So there's a lot of like parent sickness kind of trauma going on. And I think they're all struggling to communicate with each other about grief. And she refers to it as anticipatory grief, which I totally understand. And again, it's like, if everyone could just extend each other that same empathy that they are expecting, they'd all probably just hug it out, which I think is what they were trying to do at the healing thing, but unfortunately it backfired.
Yeah, I agree. And I think to some degree, like if they all just let their guard down and just understand that like they're there to also do a job and film a show. So like they're making it that much harder with so much animosity toward each other. I just think that it would just make it a lot more seamless. But I don't know. I always like in my head when I watch the show, I always think like, I'd love to know like the discussions behind the scenes. I'd love to know what the producers are saying to them. I'd love to know how they're briefed. Like that's the things that I think about like as the viewer. I'm always thinking about what's happening behind the camera.
Totally. But I do and I don't. Like I'm curious, but I kind of like not knowing how the sausage is made because then we get all of the shit that comes down. But
yeah, fair.
Nicole says that with Martine's mother's passing, all of the emotions are raw and heightened in the group. Mm-hmm. Kate and Martine catch up, and I'm interested in their friendship because it seems like a bit odd, this coupling, especially because Kate had sort of judged Martine upon entry, like, oh, not another trophy wife. But I think they bond because they're kind of both a bit outliers in the group. They're pretty like quirky, independent people. Yeah, what do you think about this pairing?
I don't know. I kind of look at it from another lens. I think it makes a lot of sense that they are formulating a friendship or that they are friends. I think there is a lot of commonality between them. I think what you said is correct in that it's probably the outlier scenario that probably has bonded them closer. I think they both kind of on the peripheral. I think they kind of see and get each other as well. I'd be curious to see how that eventuates, because we probably could have had the same conversation last season about Kate and Caroline to now see them not as close. So I'd be curious to see if they did come back, if that dynamic would be the same, because I think about it and I think, are you guys is it like a birds of a feather, like in the same sort of scenario, you're sticking together? I don't know. That's interesting, because I do think, like I said, I do think that Chrissy and Caroline make more sense as a duo as opposed to Kate and Caroline. So who knows?
Also, Martine is a real one-on-one girly, which like same girl, so I get it. But like she likes the deep chats face-to-face with one other person. She's not into the group thing. You can tell she gets a bit overwhelmed when there's too much going on, and I totally relate to that. So I get that too, and I like that her and Kate have found some common ground to discuss. Plus, she's got a dog, so Kate's gonna love that.
True. I have an interesting question for you. Maybe you're going to ask me this. I feel like I'm steering the ship now.
Please.
I would be curious to know, because it's in light of what we're discussing, if you were one of the housewives, who would you be?
Oh, probably Kate. I think I see the most of myself in Kate, but like, I don't know. I can't really put myself in this group because I'm just like so far out of context. But I think I like identify the most with her because she's kind of like taking the piss a bit. I'm like, maybe Chrissy. I think I'm Chrissy in terms of like talking shit, and then I do, rub people the wrong way sometimes. Who are you?
Yep. I'd say that I'd be a hybrid. I'd say that I would be a Chrissy, because
Chrissy Rising.
As much as Chrissy Rising, it's probably the Aries in me as well. I like to be the center of attention, and I like to be loud. It's also the Italian in me. But I would say that I'd probably be a Chrissy Kate as well.
Oh, okay, great. We're both cusp Chrissy Kates.
Yes, exactly right.
But then as a viewer, I like the people that I find so exotic. So like, Montano tickles me, Martine tickles me, Caroline. Like, honestly, they all kind of do in their own special way. And then Terry's just kind of like carrying the season by being so demanding of the spotlight, which is perfect casting.
Do you think that they actually were trying to set Terry up as like the Gina?
I think so. I mean, they're very different people, but it's that pull of like, she doesn't give a fuck kind of thing. Maybe. Weirdly,
I don't know.
She's like,
I'd say Chrissy is more than
Terry. I think Chrissy's more of Eugenia because she's kind of a bit more legit. I don't know, because I'm not from Sydney, so the whole Terry thing, I'd never heard of her before this, but
really,
but the more I'm hearing from people, it's like she's prolific, especially when you're like married to a famous sports person. Has a whole connotation. So I get she's got this reputation she's entering in. It sounds like she used to be a party girl, which I love, which is kind of a Janet vibe almost. So
Terry was very known. It probably still is. She's very known on the social scene. She like any event or anything that would ever happen, you would always see like Terry was a really big fixture. Obviously, then she married a footballer. She also had her own fashion label as well, so she was very known in the Sydney scene.
Shoe.
Yes, exactly. But she actually, I don't know if you know this, she was actually on a TV show many years ago as well.
Oh no, what was that?
She was on, you should look it up actually. She was on a show called Wags. They did an Aussie one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She was on that.
There you go. And then Kate had also been on telly with the Bondi vet.
Oh
So it's
yeah,
kind of like,
Bondi Vet.
yeah,
True.
interesting. I guess that's always going to be appealing when they cast. It's like
Yeah.
people that are comfortable on camera.
Do you want to know something interesting? Actually,
Right.
when I was thinking about who would I cast for the Sydney Housewives, one of the people that I had thought about was actually on the last episode, and I was like, "That's actually quite funny," because I thought about her forecasting.
Who?
Jane, the woman that owns
yes.
Shoko.
Jane Lou. I liked her.
Jane Lou.
Yeah, she was, can't get her on.
She'd be good. Well, it's actually interesting. I actually did a review of the trailer before the season had actually aired, and I had actually mentioned her because I mentioned that the cast needs to be more diverse, and I said we should pick women like Jane Lou. So I was like, oh my God, that's so funny that she's in the season.
No, I welcome that. She seemed fun. Someone I wouldn't put on the show is in this next scene. It's Margarita, which is also a drink and also a relationship advisor. What the fuck? This bitch was so thirsty to be on this show.
Yeah.
Like, I died. She's like telling Caroline how to have relationships, and it was all such crap. She's like, you got to be more of a golden retriever, but don't be a golden retriever. I was like, shut up, Margarita.
Do you know what she was giving? She was giving like every fucking relationship video that you ever see on TikTok. Like it was just that, very rehearsed. Like
she was a plant for sure. They were like, hey, Caroline, doing the scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I was also like, where did this woman come from? I've never seen this friend before.
No, she was lucky that made the cut. I think, that was some filler stuff. Kate and Martine are catching up. They discuss that everyone's, different. They approach things differently. I was like, that's nice. I think Martine needs to practice what she preaches a little bit here. Because in this chat, she's very like open to people having differences. And she's like, she's kind of schooling Kate, being like, you've got to like expand your mind and all of that. And I'm like, honey, you could probably take a leaf out of your own book here. But what is it? Do as I say, not as I do.
Yes, yes, exactly. Practice what you preach.
Yeah. And then Martine asks how she's going with Caroline. And here we go. This is where Dr. Kate has done some spelunking, some Googling. She's gone the distance. And it turns out that she's as fake as every fucking handbag she owns.
Evidently.
Iconic line. Shots fired. I was firmly seated at this moment. What did you think?
I thought it was quite funny, and I thought it was... I don't know if it was like her little like draw card. It was like, oh, I've got this thing that I've done on her, this like investigative work, like, and to me, like, I don't know if Chrissy really cared. Like, she was just like, okay, like, and what? Like, I thought it was really funny how Chrissy was like, Caroline's got the strongest moral compass that I know. She's, and then Caroline was like, really? And then she like launched. So I thought that was funny. I thought it would have been funnier if Caroline was there, because I would have loved to have seen that conversation with her there as well.
Yeah.
But I think next week we'll probably get that.
Well, Kate sort of makes a threat to Martine. She says,
yes,
if Caroline keeps lying about her, then it's all coming out. And then to that I say, delicious. Bring it on.
Bring it to the reunion.
Then we get more of Margarita's love coaching. I can't with Margie. It's, And then Sally catches up with her pal, Jane. And Sally's being very ambitious with Swish Swish. What is Swish? This is like a supplement or something.
It's a wellness brand. It's actually quite a reputable brand. So let's not talk ill about Swish. It's quite a good brand.
I would never. I simply don't know what it is, but we love that. And she's expanding.
It's like it's like a, do you know, like JS Health or like those kinds of brands?
No, I'm not a healthy girl. Yeah. Okay. Down here we just smoke meth.
Okay. Wow. And drink magic coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, we're fucking wired down here. Yeah. No, I love this. And do you know what? Like, if you're on this show, get a brand. Why not?
But that is exactly what I would be doing. If I was a housewife, I would be flogging every fucking brand,
what would you flog?
everything. Well, I actually have a coffee business, Espresso Chronicles, so I'd be
Here we
flogging
go,
that.
baby. Sponsored
Product
post.
placement. Oh,
What's your
why do you
coffee
think I'm
about?
strategically drinking my coffee?
Well, I
as
didn't
well?
receive a package, so I can't say that I was drinking some.
Wow. Well, we'll see how this rates, and then you might get coffee.
I might get a lump of coal. Well, I'm still waiting for a hat
You might.
from Victoria Montana. She told me she was sending me a hat.
Oh, really?
I've not received, so.
Do you know? I
Empty
will say
promises.
that Nicole did keep her word, because when I did meet her, she said she was going to send me her patches, and
you
she
got some?
did.
How are they?
I don't know. I don't know if they're a placebo or not.
Like, how are they? What are they? Do they look like a little Nicorette patch?
Oh, I want to get them, but I
No,
know
no.
I want to be conscious of like you filming as well. I'll show them to you after.
Okay,
Yes, they do. They do, but they're all for like different things. They're like one's for sleep, one's for glow, one's for like metabolism.
Yeah.
Probably the only one that I thought did anything was the sleep one, in that I felt like it did relax me, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Good for her.
No, the girlies aren't sending me anything. And even if they were, you think that's going to guilt me into being nice? Fuck no.
Well, do you know what? It's so interesting, because even with me doing the reviews, I was like, well, I wonder like what they think, and they all get it. They all know, like, no, I know that you're just sharing your honest opinion, but
Good.
I also know not to go like too far down the line.
Of course,
as well.
yeah. No, it's fully, for me, it's love and light. I love the shit out of this show, and I hope that's evident, but, you know, sometimes it's fun to throw some shade too, darling.
Well, also, as well, they should be conscious that people like us are also really great for them, because we're helping to boost the shows. So
we love it.
Also that. You know what I love as well? Did you see that it's now in the US and the UK?
This show? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So it's on
Hey
You.
You. Oh, great. Yeah. So good. Do they have Hey You in America?
Yeah.
Nice. I knew it was in the UK. I think that's where it's from even. But great. We love that. I wanted to get picked up, because remember back in the day, I think it was Melbourne season like 3 or something.
Yeah.
That was like on Bravo. Like that did really well.
Yes.
We need that again.
That's true. Don't talk to then. Melbourne's another podcast.
I know, we don't have time.
It's still in morning.
Sally says Martine lives in a bubble, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous Darling Point bubble. And I'd have to agree.
Yes.
And then we cut to her wanting to become a lunchbox influencer. I loved this scene so much. She's like, look at the crinkle cut carrots. I love a bento. There's some bento mums from Japan that accounts, and I'm going to send Martine that I get inspo from.
You should.
I love this.
You should. If she was smart, she could leverage that.
Well, I think, it sounds like she might. She's like, should I be a lunchbox influencer? That's cute.
Come back. Cut to next season. She's got like a whole range.
She spills to Kate that Chrissy mentioned that Kate doesn't fit in because she's not a mum. So she's kind of, at this point I was like, what's going on here? But then I realized, she's backpedaling to the Jordan Peterson of it all. And she's trying to say the maturation situation. She's trying to say that it's Chrissy's fault that came up in the first place, which I was like, oh, okay. I've thought.
Bit of deflection.
I mean, I don't know who started it. To me, it's irrelevant who started it. She did reveal that was her opinion, which I think is a little cooked. But whatever, it's her lived experience. That's fine. But Kate is like, maybe I'm an alien. I don't know.
Maybe Lydia can wash her vagina with it. I don't know, really.
Yes, I did love that. Well, why would you say that?
Why would you say that? Oh, God.
What's your thoughts on maturation?
Maturation. I think it's all gobbledygook, really. I think it's all a bit silly. And I don't think having a child makes you any more or less mature than the other. Yeah. I just think it was just stupid. I just think it was also low-hanging fruit as well. I do also think, on the other hand, I am conscious that your priorities shift and you evolve in a different way as a parent. That part I get and I know, but I don't think it makes you any more or less mature as well. So
fuck no.
I just think it was stupid.
Yeah.
And unwarranted.
It also doesn't acknowledge different styles of parenting and different parenting arrangements.
Yeah.
For example, I have a child. I have a 5-year-old son. Yeah, that I don't parent, but I'm a known donor. And it's like, that hasn't changed my life. And like, it's not, there's no biological thing that happened to me where I now feel like I've grown up. Do you know what I mean? Like, and because I'm not actively parenting, but if I was, I probably would agree. I'd probably feel like, oh, you know, shit just got real. Like I've got to keep this thing alive. So I get that, but I honestly just don't think it's that interesting of a topic. And the fact that they're back and forthing about it, I'm like, oh, ladies, please move on.
But doesn't that go to show you though that they're reaching for storyline? Anything, any sort of low-hanging fruit that they can get to make some sort of storyline, they'll grab and they'll get. Like, I would have loved to have seen Kate going through her IVF journey the whole season. That would have been really interesting to see.
Yeah, which she may or may not go through with. Who knows?
Who knows?
After this next scene, so next she, very good editing here. They cut from the discussion about having kids to Auntie Kate looking after her nephew or whoever's kid that was. This was fucking hilarious.
That was really funny.
Jumping in the ball pit. She's like, this is contraception. I'm not doing it. Which I was like, I was like, don't do it, Kate. You got fur babies. That's enough.
Yeah. But it does make me think though, like she is an animal lover. So I'm sure there's a degree of empathy there that would extend itself to kids. I think also like timing is everything. Right? I think when the timing is right, it's the same thing. Timing is everything. Like when the time is right, I'm sure she'll have kids if that's meant for her.
Yeah.
But I thought that scene was so fucking funny. And I love that like Terry had to come and like save the day.
And then Terry is still barking up the tree like, oh, but you got to do it, Kate. You come on. I love the scene as well where they're in the car, Kate and the kid. And the kid, she's like, got any friends? And the kid's like, nah. She's like, don't worry. I hate people too. Which I was like, yes. And then she goes, yeah, well, you know. And then that cat died, didn't it? Why did the cat die? And I was like, Kate.
She was really trying to find some way to like relate to this poor kid.
Incredible.
It was very funny. Do you know what Terry was giving as well though? Terry was giving like every Euro parent, because I can attest to this, every Euro parent or like grandmother that every time you see them, they're like, and are you in a relationship? And when are you having kids? And when are you getting married?
Yes, absolutely.
It was giving that.
Love it. Oh my God. Caroline is then FaceTiming with Chrissy, who's off in Europe. The way that they let these women just go on trips whenever
I know, isn't it funny?
Montano is always in Aspen or Saint-Tropez season, and I love these snaps. It's a little Europe family trip for their anniversary. Her and Johnny's, and they were on a yacht. They weren't on the Just for Fun, but they were on a yacht next to Mark Zuckerberg. And the Dallas Cowboys, was it? I was like,
I love that she had to make that known as well. She had to let us know that. It was a very important piece of the story. Yeah.
And then they took Milana back to her place of conception.
Where she was conceived, Miss Milana.
Milana was just there, right over there on that laneway over there. We fucked it. Like, Mom.
And you were essentially conceived then. I just think Chrissy's so fucking funny. Like, I'd love to just be in a room with her to see if she's like that in person. I think she is.
I want to go.
She's just hilarious.
Fun, so bad.
Just for fun. Do you know what I actually fucking love? And I actually think if she was smart enough, she'd make it like a series with guest appearances. Do you watch her Instagram, or she does it on TikTok as well, where she's like coming out of the door and she's doing like her outfit of the day?
Amazing. But like just off the lunch with the girls.
It's so funny.
Okay? Those so funny. Make my day. Like,
do you know what I think though when I'm watching it? Is she in the background going, all right, Milana, come on, get the camera?
100%. Yeah. She's got those girlies working the camera for
It's so
sure.
funny.
Then some of the girls meet up to congratulate Sally on her whirlwind business trip to the UK. So yeah, a lot of back and forths to Europe this week. Chrissy's also back. She talks about conceiving Milana, and I love that within 5 seconds, Chrissy's talking about shagging. Never change, babe. We need it. And
no, she's neat, and it's funny. But what was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say to your point about how they're always jet setting. I was going to say the cost of living crisis is not it's not hit the Housewives. It's not hit the East, evidently.
No, surely not. We're all just clinging on down here on the bus. Chrissy tells that Caroline has the straightest moral compass, as you said earlier, which Kate and Terry harshly disagree with. And then Kate gets out the receipts. They're not physical receipts just yet. Maybe she's saving that for the reunion. Who knows? But she brings out that her name and some of her university records are inaccurate. Is this low, or are we living?
I think the university thing was funny. I think, sure, that makes sense. I think the name thing is irrelevant. And if I draw it to me as the example, my name is an Italian name. So my name is Nick, but on my passport and birth certificate, it's Nicola. So I don't go around introducing myself. It's not Guncle. Guncle is my showbiz name. It's like Madonna, you know?
We love it.
We're in the same level, me and Madonna. So I think that was stupid, but it was funny. But I love that it was her way of being like, this is my gotcha moment. I'm going to get you with this. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah. And she's it's camp. Like anything like this, exactly. doing background research in real life, that would be so concerning. But I feel like on this show, it's a bit like, of course, you go low.
It's like I keep correct, but it's like I keep saying, they need to have this discussion in front of each other. It's too much of they have this in a small setting, and then it's like Chinese whispers, then it goes back to the other girl. Have this as a collective discussion. It could have been I feel like it could have had greater effect if Caroline was there and she'd said that.
Agreed. I mean, no doubt she will find out at some point. But yeah, well, Chrissy isn't into it. She finds it really cringe. She calls Kate a psycho for doing it. And then Terry calls Victoria the peanut gallery. Some of the expressions they come out with on this show, I'm like, oh my God,
I know.
What century is this? It's so funny. She's always heckling from the back, which I'm like, she is, but that's where I like her, with that.
She's like the yes girl in the back,
just being like,
it's like what she was doing with Martine. She was like her little mouthpiece.
Very much. Yeah. You want Montano on your team so she can sit there and just throw a few daggers.
Yeah. I feel like if she was your friend, she'd really ride hard for you, but evidently
turn blind eyes.
Yes, but if I believe what the papers are saying, or what the Daily Mail is saying, evidently Martine and her are not friends. So I don't know.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
That much I don't know, but if I go by what I see on the internet.
Well, Chrissy says at the end of the day, I am who I am. I'm a loud bitch. And I'm not changing for Martine from Darling Point. So I did like it. This is good. This is classic Chrissy. She's doubling down, 10 toes. She's like, nah, I am.
She's just funny. I just love her. I think she's just hilarious. And I love that. I love that she's just unapologetically herself.
Yeah.
I love that.
Totally. Chrissy in confessional says that Martine is too hard basket and that friendships should be easy. Which I get, but it's also you're on a show, so it's not going to be easy. Yeah. She goes, yes, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Drink a coffee, darling. Drink it. What's your coffee brand? insert plug here.
Espresso Chronicles. Yes.
It's an Espresso
yes,
Chronicles,
exactly.
darling. Hello.
What did Janet used to say on Melbourne? I'm not everyone's drink of choice, but I'm my cup of tea.
And then she had raw essential tea in Chemist Warehouse.
Yes. Does she still have that?
Oh yeah, I've got some downstairs.
Never tried it.
It's a delicious beverage.
Is it?
A collagen tea.
Oh, okay.
Then we come circling back to the maturation of it all. And yes, we holy shit, I can't believe we're talking about Jordan Peterson again, but here we are.
Risen from the ashes, like Jesus Christ himself on Easter weekend, especially. What a time to do it.
Yeah. Kate's like, well, Martine says that Chrissy brought the whole thing up in the first place. And then we get a who's stirring shit now from Chrissy. So Martine is being messy here, but do you think she's just trying to keep her hands clean?
I think there's an element of that where she is trying to wash her hands of any drama. And I think she's probably trying to like put it onto somebody else and let them battle it out.
It's like
probably,
she's rise
yes.
above, and I don't want her to. I want her to like dive down.
But the interesting thing is, Martine is a Housewives girl. She loves her housewife. She loves New York. So she knows the formula. She knows how it goes down.
Yeah.
I just think it's like I said to you. I just think it was like first season jitters.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure how much of herself she needed to give. I think it was a lot of that. Understanding the dynamic.
I think she's done great. I don't think she should feel
Yeah.
any way bad about her performance on this season. I think she's been fucking a great new addition. Like,
Yeah.
perfect at stirring some shit up, causing some new tension, which we didn't have. And I'm really looking forward to more of her. I really hope she sticks around.
Yeah, me too. I hope so too.
Yeah. And next week is the finale, and it looks juicy.
The finale.
Ooh, Caroline's taking shots from Kate. What do you reckon?
And I'm excited. Well, I'm excited because it's the first time that we see them all together as a group of however many there are. So I'm excited for that. I'm very curious to see how that goes down. And I think it'll be a nice segue into the reunion.
Yes. And that's going to be epic. They might even do multiple parts. Who knows?
We'll see. I wonder who's hosting. Is it Joel Creasy still?
I think it might be. I remember hearing on the grapevine that he was looking forward to like redeeming himself from last year. So, but that was a while ago. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I hope so. Well, she's not going to Europe this year for Eurovision, so she's free.
Yeah. Okay. Well, better him than Alex Perry. I could not stand when he was on reunions.
Low-key loved Alex Perry, but no, Joel, we love. Joel does a great job. Looking forward to that. Thank you so much for joining me this week.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
So fun. Come back anytime.
Of course. Well, like I said, we'll see how this rates.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about the rating.
All right, Joel. Take care, and I'll see you soon.